Hello warriors, I welcome you all to Phoenix CDS. Today we are going to study Chapter 8, Standard 6, Body Movements. Movement in our body happens with the help of muscles and joints. So let us study in detail about them. So what are joints? Joints are basically when two or more bones meet to allow movement. ये bones का movement करा था कौन है? Muscles. First we will study about ball and socket joint. In this, rounded end of one bone fits into the cavity of other bone. इसका मतलब है ये बोन का जो राउंडेड एंड है दैट फिट्स इनसाइड द हॉलो स्पेस मतलब जो खाली जगह है अंदर वो केव्ड इन होता है. दिस बोन फिट्स इनसाइड दैट स्पेस एंड दिस बॉल एंड सॉकेट जॉइंट कहाँ प्रेजेंट होता है? हिप्स एंड शोल्डर्स. सर्कुलर मूवमेंट होता है ना, दिस बॉल हेल्प्स इन सर्कुलर मूवमेंट. शोल्डर एंड हिप दोनों को हम लोग सर्कुलर मोशन में घुमा सकते हैं. नेक्स्ट वी स्टडी हिंज जॉइंट. दिस जॉइंट allows motion in 180 degrees which is a single plane. इसका मतलब है ये जॉइंट मैक्सिमम 180 डिग्री पे मूवमेंट अलाउ करता है, मतलब स्ट्रेट लाइन. अगर ये आर्म ऐसा है आपका, सो द मैक्सिमम इट कैन गो इट इज 180 डिग्रीज विच इज अ स्ट्रेट लाइन विच इज अ सिंगल प्लेन. हिंज जॉइंट कहाँ प्रेजेंट होता है? एल्बो एंड नी में. नेक्स्ट इज पिवोटल जॉइंट. इन दिस अ सिलिंड्रिकल बोन रोटेट्स इन अ रिंग. इट इज द जॉइंट वेयर द नेक जॉइंस द हेड. ये जो नेक है ये हेड को ज्वाइन करते हैं. यहाँ पे एक सिलिंड्रिकल बोन है. दिस इज नोन एज पिवोटल जॉइंट. वेयर इज इट प्रेजेंट? इन द नेक. यहाँ भी इस जॉइंट की वजह से हेड का सर्कुलर मोशन हो पाता है. इन द नेक एंड द हेड एरिया देयर आर टू बोन्स टू रिमेंबर. जिस वन इज द एटलस विच होल्ड्स द स्कल. एक छोटा सा ऐसा बोन होता है और इसके ऊपर इज योर स्कल. दिस बोन इज नेम्ड आफ्टर ग्रीक गॉड एटलस. ये उनका फोटो है which shows he is supporting the world on his shoulders. On the basis of that, the atlas bone supports the skull, hence it is named after him. And major confusion यहाँ पे होता है, the bone atlas holds the skull, the bone axis does not. ये ऑप्शन में आपको कंफ्यूज कर दिया जाता है. So please remember it. Atlas holds the skull. Remember Atlas as the Greek god. How many bones are in the human body? This is important. At birth, when मतलब जब तुम पैदा होते हो, तब number of bones are 305. And when you reach the stage of adulthood, when like you're grown up, the number of bones are 206. जो भी small bones होते हैं, they merge together and form one single bone. So the number of bones get reduced. So at birth the number of bones are more, 305, and after reaching adulthood, the number of bones are 206. This is a photo of a person praying to God to clear his CDS written examination. So आप इसकी तरह मत बनना. With the help of proper guidance and proper understanding of the core concepts, clear your exam in the very next attempt. चलो अब हम palm and foot के bones के बारे में पढ़ते हैं. यहाँ पे जहाँ आपका arm and wrist meet होता है, the bone is known as carpel, CRPEL, and the area of the wrist before the fingers, the bones here are known as metacarpals, and the bones in the fingers are known as phalanges. PHALANGES. So ये हो गए हमारे wrist and palm के bones. Remember these bones, write it down. तुम्हारे feet में ये area, the bones here are known as tarsals. जहाँ पे तुम्हारा ankle and the leg joint and the area surrounding it, the bones here are known as tarsals. And then from there to the toes नहीं, वहाँ से toes तक लेकर, the bones here are known as metatarsals. What is meta in metatarsal bone? यहाँ दोनों जगह पे मेटा का मतलब है लोकेटेड बियॉन्ड. मेटा का मतलब है लोकेटेड बियॉन्ड. सो अगर कार्पेल के बियॉन्ड जो ये लोकेटेड है, मतलब कार्पेल के आगे जो ये लोकेटेड है, दे आर नोन एज मेटाकार्पल्स, एंड ये टार्सल्स के आगे या टार्सल्स के बियॉन्ड जो लोकेटेड है, दे आर नोन एज मेटाटार्सल्स. And again, the fingers or the toes are known as phalanges. So ये हो गया foot and palm clear. Remember these bones? Options या match the column में डाल के पूछ सकते हैं. And remember, don't be like him. Work hard, study hard, revise well. Next we learn is about rib cage. Rib cage में कितना ribs होता है? The 12 ribs on each side of the chest. Want to count the number of ribs? So let's start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So there are 12 ribs on each side, which makes 24 in total. 12 each, 24 in total. अब ये ribs को पकड़ के कौन रखता है? Which is the backbone. And the backbone has 32 vertebrae. The upper part is known as cervical vertebrae. The middle part is known as thoracic vertebrae. And the lower part is known as lumbar vertebrae. And in the end, here are sacrum and coccyx. So here we see there are 12 ribs on each side and there are 24 in total. And the part holding the ribs is known as the backbone. This is the structure of the backbone. The upper vertebrae is known as cervical. The middle vertebrae is known as thoracic. The lower vertebrae is known as lumbar. And in the end are sacrum and coccyx. So what is the last vertebrae? It is coccyx. अब शोल्डर बोन एंड पेल्विक बोन क्या होता है? ये जो हमारा शोल्डर यहाँ पे है, these bones here, the front side and the back side, these are known as shoulder bones. And shoulder में कौन सा joint होता है? Ball and socket joint, जो हमने ऊपर पढ़ा था. ये जो hip area में जो bones होता है, these bones are known as pelvic bones. So this is our skull. The upper jaw is known as maxilla, and the lower jaw here is known as mandible. Upper jaw is fixed, so the maxilla is fixed. जब भी तुम बात करते हो कुछ चबाते हो, तो only the lower part moves, right? So only mandible moves. The maxilla is fixed. अब cartilage क्या होता है? These are not hard as bones and these can be bent. इसका main function क्या होता है? To protect the joints. The cartilage acts as a shock absorber. यहाँ पे electric shock का बात नहीं हो रहा. This is the shock due to the pressure on the bones. मुझे अभी भी कुछ लोग पता है जो जी शॉक की वॉचेस में शॉक अब्जॉर्प्शन लिखा है, उससे सोचते हैं कि उनको शॉक नहीं लगेगा. So even if some of you have the doubt, the shock absorption in G-Shock watch is when the watch will fall down, it will absorb the shock and वो खराब नहीं होगा. So G-Shock में जो shock है, that is for the watch and not for you. Joints का part खत्म हो गया है. Now let's come to muscles. So the first thing we need to remember is muscle contracts, and when it contracts, it bulges, which means it becomes shorter, stiffer and thicker. Now I want each one of you to do one exercise. Biceps सबको पता ही है ना? So make it tight. So यहाँ पे क्या होता है? The muscle in the bicep contracts. जब आप अपना आर्म कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते हो, the bicep becomes shorter. मतलब वो छोटा हो जाता है bicep. मतलब the muscle becomes shorter. It becomes stiffer and thicker, which means it becomes hard. So what do muscles do? Muscles help pull the bone. Wherever the muscle contracts, the bone is pulled in that direction. Always remember, muscles can only pull, cannot push. मसल्स कभी भी पुश नहीं कर सकते, दे कैन ओनली पुल. सो जब आप बाइसेप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते हो, सो द बाइसेप मसल इज पुल्ड. बट आप जब आर्म सीधा करते हो, द ट्राइसेप मसल विच इज ऑन द बैक साइड, दैट इज पुल्ड. So there is only a pull movement in the muscles. There is no push movement. Always remember this. It is very important. Now let us study about few organisms. First is earthworm. There are some points to remember. The earthworms do not have bones. It uses its mouth to extend and shorten. कभी earthworm को देखा है? ऐसे होता है, फिर ऐसे होता है. ये contract करता है, फिर वो आगे जाता है. It has tiny bristles under the body. Under the body, it has very tiny bristles which cannot be seen with the naked eye. It eats its way through the soil. Earthworm जो soil है वो यहाँ से खा लेता है, then passes out from here. So ऐसे ही खा के it moves inside the soil. The undigested part is thrown away. This undigested part is known as worm casts. This helps make wormy compost, which help in the growth of the plants. Next we see about cockroach. The body of the cockroach is surrounded by hard outer skeleton. ये जो इनका बॉडी है, दिस इज मेड अप ऑफ नंबर ऑफ प्लेट्स जॉइंट टुगेदर. जैसे छोटा छोटा प्लेट्स होता है, दिस बॉडी इज मेड अप ऑफ दिस प्लेट्स. उड़ता हुआ कॉकरोच देखा है ना? सो द बॉडी मसल्स मूव द विंग एंड हेल्प इट फ्लाई. सो टू रिमेंबर हियर इज द बॉडी इज कवर्ड विद हार्ड आउटर स्केलेटन and they are made up of number of plates joined together. छोटा छोटा plates, many plates, they are joined together. ये जो snail का outer shell होता है, it is not made up of bone. It is a single unit made up of calcium carbonate. So what are the human bones made up of? Human bones में होता है calcium phosphate. Remember this. Now we see fishes. It is observed that the head and the tail are smaller than the middle portion. What is this shape called? Streamlined shape. And ये जो fins होते हैं यहाँ पे, they help to maintain balance and direction. पानी के अंदर जो movement करते हैं, it helps for that. And ये जो tail होता है यहाँ पे, the fish uses it to give a jerk in the water and move forward. Next we see snakes. The body of the snake curves itself in loops. The loop helps it to give itself a push forward. ये ऐसा loop बनता है. It uses the backward portion to give itself a push and then it moves forward. The snakes cannot move in straight line. And snakes में बहुत ही important fact है that all the muscles are interconnected to each other. In a snake's body, all the muscles are interconnected to each other. Birds में सिर्फ हमें इतना ही याद रखना है that their bones are hollow and light. Hollow मतलब खोखला. ये जो खोखला और हल्का बोन होता है, इसकी वजह से वो उड़ पाता है. एंड जो बर्ड्स पानी में रहते हैं जैसे कि डव, देयर फेदर्स हैव नॉन स्टिकी लेयर्स विच हेल्प्स देम टू फ्लोट. ये जो मैं एक्स्ट्रा इंक्लूड करता हूँ, मुझे लगता था कि तुम लोग बोर हो जाओगे, बट देन आई रिसीव्ड अ मेल specifically stating that the extra information or the extra part in the video is very informative and that it is helping him to make better notes. So I'll continue this extra part in some chapters which have more information than just sticking to the textbook. वैसे भी जब मैं हर एक चैप्टर कवर कर रहा हूँ, आई इंक्लूड एक्स्ट्रा इन्फॉर्मेशन अकॉर्डिंग टू द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस एंड जिस पैटर्न में यूपीएससी क्वेश्चन पूछता है. सो लेट्स कंटिन्यू. पिवट जॉइंट हमें कहाँ देखने मिलता है? इट इज इन द नेक. द बॉल एंड सॉकेट जॉइंट आर इन द शोल्डर्स एंड on the hip. The hinge joint can be seen on the elbow and in the knees. The condylate joint can be seen in the wrist. The saddle joint can be seen on the thumb. This is the only place in which the saddle joint is located. The gliding joint is present between carpal and tarsal bones. Carpal and tarsal bones कहाँ होते हैं? In the foot, where the leg and ankle connects. There it is known as tarsal bone. And in the palm, where the arm and the wrist connect, is known as carpal. So there is a gliding joint present over there. और फिक्स जॉइंट कहाँ पे? स्कल में देखा था ना हमने, द अपर पार्ट which is the maxilla is fixed, so it is the fixed joint. Pivot joint, ball and socket joint, hinge joint and somewhat fixed joint, ये सब का function हमने देख लिया था. So let's see what is the function of condyloid joint, saddle joint and gliding joint. So we can see here the condyloid joint is more like a modified ball and socket joint. It helps movement, जो up and down या side by side movement होता है, it helps in that. Now let's see saddle joint. ये part ignore कर देना. The saddle joint helps in forward and backward, which is extension and flexion motion, or sideways motion, which is abduction and adduction. So ये आगे पीछे and side by side movement. Gliding joint, as the name suggests, it helps in the gliding of the bones over each other. मतलब ये bone है and ये नीचे का bone है. This bone glides over that bone, and this is on a plane surface, hence it is also known as planar joint. What is bone also known as? Connective tissue. अब बोन को टिश्यू क्यों बोलते हैं? बिकॉज बोन स्टोर्स मिनरल्स सच एज कैल्शियम and it also connects parts of the body, hence it is known as connective tissue. So please remember, bone is also called as a connective tissue, and हमने थोड़ी देर पहले पढ़ा था, it is made up of calcium phosphate. What is cartilage? ये हमने पहले ऊपर पढ़ लिया है. It is flexible and soft, can be bent, mainly used for shock absorption. और एक चीज याद है ना shock absorption का, and it is help to reduce friction between the joints. Next we see ligament. Any footballers or people who have undergone their ligament reconstruction have been through the whole journey. So if you want, you can connect with me. So what is ligament? It is a flexible and fibrous tissue. It is very strong. Ligament का काम क्या है? दोनों बोन को होल्ड करना. हमारे नी में एक फ्लूइड प्रेजेंट होता है which is known as synovial fluid. What does this fluid act as? A lubricant. Lubricant का मतलब it helps to reduce friction. Let's see about the connection. What does the muscle connect? Muscle connects bone to bone. What does the ligament connect? It also connects bone to bone. And what does the tendon connect? Tendon muscle को bone से जोड़ता है. So muscle and ligament both join bone and bone, and tendon joins muscle to bone. Muscle के भी types होते हैं. So let's study about them. First is skeletal muscle. Skeletal मतलब the muscles which are attached to bones and they are voluntary. Voluntary मतलब हमारे कंट्रोल में. They are under the control of CNS. CNS क्या है? Central Nervous System. And और एक चीज याद रखना, skeletal muscles are always in pairs. मतलब जोड़ी में होते हैं. Next are non-skeletal muscles. These are smooth muscles, which are mainly our organs. They are involuntary. मतलब हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं होता. तुम तुम्हारे कोई ऑर्गन को कंट्रोल कर सकते हो नहीं ना. So non-skeletal muscles are involuntary muscles. All organs except heart fall under non-skeletal muscles. They are under the control of ANS, which means autonomous nervous system. Next are cardiac muscles, which is basically heart. Ignore this. Cardiac muscles are involuntary muscles. मतलब हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं होता है. And they are rhythmic. Heartbeat एक rhythm में होता है ना. So they are rhythmic. And they are under the control of ANS, which is the autonomous nervous system. This date was mentioned in the textbook. 21st of June is International Yoga Day. And there is a book written by a Greek philosopher, Aristotle, which is The Gait of Animals. Gait का meaning क्या होता है? It is the way that somebody walks. या way of walking. Again, I am emphasizing on making notes. Please notes बनाओ अपना. मैं जितना होता है उतना information include करता हूँ videos में. Understand them एंड नोट्स ऐसे बनाओ जिसको देख के तुम्हें फटाक से समझ में आ जाए। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच, टेक केयर, जय हिंद।